Okay guys, so I'm going to, in this video, explain like arc shots a little bit more and certain spots that you can hit through. And I kind of wanted to, do this video as well, is like I can talk all that about prediction shots, arcing your hatchets, but why not show examples? Why not kind of explain the way certain survivors work and how to know to go for these or to at least try them? So first, I want to go with some gamer holes, which is saying Ralph has, or threading the needle for coconut, which is hitting small spaces, right? So Garden of Joy, horrible map, lots of bushes, hold still, whatever. So skip forward, I see this hole right here. Now, look at the way that I set this up. I vault. Obviously, she vaults too fast. I can't do anything. Maybe I would have done it properly if I pulled up earlier, because you kind of want to pull up as you come in. But now, look at this. So here's the thing. If she keeps running this way, she has to drop the pallet or die, right? Now, if she runs this way, I can just cut her off with a vault. Which, I mean, no matter what happens, that's typically how it's going to go down. And then I cut her out with vault. She doesn't make it. Or she tries to dodge, but I get her no matter what, right? So she probably knows this, but if she waits right here, if I come around this way, then she gets over here. If I vault it, she can run in and go through that. But I'm not going to explain the whole looping part. But because she's going to wait here, because she's going to see what I'm going to do, and she can look in here, it's perfect view, but what she doesn't realize, I can hit through. And the fact that she has to keep spinning and make sure that she can look in here, not lose sight of me, means that I can throw my hatchet. Although I timed it wrong and she kind of like spun it in. You see that she's starting to spin and I can hit through it. But it also works on the outside. So when you're here and you're in her spot, you can look in. Now, if you move left and right, you can get these survivors to like move left and right, but after the first hit, they're going to know. They're in a swift, they're going to know. But this is a little spot that can really help you on this bad map, especially if there's a generator in here, because this map is horrible. The main building, you're a 4.4 killer, you're not going to get basically any sort of benefit on this map at all because of the line of sight blockers, the bushes with horrible hitboxes. Horrible map for Huntress and a lot of other killers. Now let's proceed. So let's see this one. So in this match, I had Torment Creek, and I was camping for my, second kill. In game, it didn't go out very well in the very beginning. So, you know what, I'm trying to secure my kills. I don't know where anyone's at, but then right now they go for a save, right? So I hit him. Now here's another thing you can do with hitboxes. Look at this, I threw it, but his hitbox was still behind him. So if you watch him, okay, he's right here. His butt is probably right here. So not only is there going to be latency on everything, servers dictating certain things, but here's the thing. The survivor's body is like, let's say this is their hitbox, right? So the hitbox on the hatchet is going to be, I think, like a rectangle, if I'm not mistaken, because they tried turning it into like a baseball, but that didn't work. There's a bunch of issues. So it's like a rectangle, right? So its hitbox is right there, enough to where if they were to, like, say the arm was right here, they'd get the hit, right? So because the hitbox is about right here, and the hitbox for this bale is about right here, right? So you got to make sure that you don't hit the bale. But at the same time, this is just like a preemptive throw that I didn't time right. I was planning to hit him as he turned, because what can he actually do, especially when the guy's not looking behind him, and from getting to know the players, you know what they're going to do. So I knew that he was just going to try and get to safety as quick as possible. But the thing that a lot of people get upset as is oh, well, the hatchet didn't hit me. Well, here's the thing. Here's your torso. Here's your body. You're running, leaning forward, okay? So your hitbox doesn't go here, up here, and back around. No, it's a straight rectangle. So his hitbox is probably like right here, barely coming out here, but because my hitbox is about like right here, this hatchet hits him. So that's another thing that you can do is you can manipulate the hitboxes, or I guess not manipulate them, but use the hitboxes to your advantage. You can hit around corners, and it's technically fair. It just does not look fair. But this isn't really the whole point of this clip. This isn't like the amazing part of this clip. The really good part is this. So this building, you'll see lots of people get hits through, and you're like, oh, well, so, it's hard to do. Right here in this little corner, you can throw through this. This hole right here, you can throw through this. A lot of these holes. This hole right here, you can throw through this. And look at what I did. I set this up. So I knew that this person was going to run, and I hit his ankle. I got lucky. Now, whether you're going to get the hit is not guaranteed. But the way that this is open, if someone's running around this way, you cannot hit through this little hole. Okay, you can't. But you can hit through this one. And so I tried getting a clip of me doing that, but the person knew, and it's going to be in a clip that I'm about to show you where they actually did this. It was the same person, but they told me later on, it's like, well, after that first down you got on me, I'm not going to like give you free hits. So knowing that, you can use that to your advantage. Now here's the chase with that person. So it was this Hattie right here, okay? She hid right here. She expected it because she see me waiting. I couldn't find anyone. Sprint burst. Now, this loop sucks. Long loops, Huntress. So I go like that, turn around quickly, pull up before I turn the corner so she can't dodge out of the way. Now I see this opening right here, okay? If I chase her, she can dodge. But if I'm behind her and she can't see me, maybe she's looking this way, or she doesn't think I can hit. She told me that she does not think that I could hit this. But look at this open space. Her hitbox is up here, right? Her hitbox is aligned with up here because their head is not where their hitbox ends, because there's different heights and sizes to each survivor, but their hitboxes are uniform. So her hitbox is up here. And like I said, rectangle hitbox, right? So although it didn't even hit above her head, it actually hit her hitbox. But because I know she's going to get to the safety of this loop, if she runs over here, that's like, oh, please try and hit me, Huntress. Now I have to try and dodge. And if you just hold it, then I more than likely will go down if you know how to hit your hatchets. But if she goes around here, I'm forced to keep running and running and running until I have to do the mind game of pulling up my hatchet or not pulling up the hatchet. But knowing that a survivor is going to go to an area lets you do these type of plays. I knew she was going that way. I knew she wasn't going this way. But even if she was, I might have still hit that hitbox. Now, speaking of like these hits, so I'm going to show you another one about the mind games, because this one's something that I've always struggled with. It's like some survivors, they pull down the pallet at the perfect timing, okay? They know when you're going to do it, and it sucks. But you can't let that dictate, because these filler loops can sometimes be the safest thing against a Huntress if you know what you're doing, okay? So watch this. So I don't pull up because there's no need to. But here, I stop. He doesn't drop it, but he greeds it. Of course, he got the dead hard. But if you bait like you're going to stop, you can actually get the you can get them to greed, and then you get the hit, okay? And at that point, then if you don't make it, you can pull up the hatchet. But then it's the 50-50 that sucks. I'd advise trying to do as many tricks to avoid going into a 50-50. But now watch what I do. This is another little trick that you can use. So his hitbox is above this rock. Although his head is clearly covered, he doesn't know this. He doesn't expect that. But this little divot right here, this decline from up here, if I were to throw it over here, I'd hit this or I'd miss. But here, where he's going to run that way to the safety, is why I got him. Now, this rock and a lot of these other, obviously you can hit over this one, okay? But these taller rocks that are head level, you can hit over if you are far enough away and you're not aiming up too high. You have to aim it perfectly to skim it or arc it. Now, I'm going to try and give you an example of arcing in this one, although this one isn't in the same scenario. So, watching this corner, you're going to see Claudette, right? So I see her running this way. Now, think. Here's a loop. Here's a tree. She could go behind the generator. She could be on this side of the generator, this side of the generator. But she could have friends there. As you're going to see, there's a girl over here, so obviously not. But why would a survivor go out of her way to run to a different part of a generator, especially when this side of the map would be safer for her? So she can take a hit, go over there. I'm not really sure too much of what she's thinking, but for the most part, they're going to get on that gen as fast as possible because you're applying the pressure, right? There's no reason for her to go over there. Why would I be able to hit her? But here's where the arc hatchets work. So as you can see, I threw it a little bit from enough distance to where the arc is going to take it over this wall. If I aimed up, it would go too far. If I was too close, it would go too far, which is why arcing over loops and into jungle gyms is not always ideal. You don't always want to go for it. And if you don't hit it, you should not feel bad about it, because I wouldn't have hit this. I had to be at the perfect distance. I didn't think I was going to hit it. I didn't know if I was going to hit it. It was a guess. But you'll start to get a feel for how your arcs are going to line up, whether it's an instant throw or a charge throw. And sometimes you're not going to have that muscle memory, or sometimes you just don't use arcs as much for hitting over things, so you're not too sure on it. But this is a good way to practice. But see, she went there exactly like I thought. I missed this hatchet. That was my bad. She still had the speed boost. But as you can see, that arc carried over, and I did it perfectly. And then I think this one... Okay, so this one is going to show you another little gamer hole trick that you can do. And note that these gamer holes, as they're called, threading the needle is not always guaranteed. That one should have hit. But hitboxes are wonky, as you can see. So, yes, hitboxes are not always guaranteed to be in your favor or anyone's favor, because I've just seen. Now, watch this. So, here's open space, right? He's going to pass it before I can hit that. But there's open space right here. Now, if he takes it wide, I don't hit this unless it barely scrapes his hitbox. But as you're going to see, I don't hit right under here. Okay, so rewind. Now, okay, my hatchet went right through this and hit his leg. Now, there's going to be a clip that you might see on Coconut's channel, Coconut RTS, where on Rancid Abattoir, the main building with all the bars, you can actually throw through those bars at the window at a certain angle, but it might have been on the old map. But there are some items in the game that actually don't have collision, at least collision at certain parts. So right here, there was no collision. If there was, I would have hit that. So take that into account. You don't always have to aim down here. You can aim slightly higher because your hatchet will go through there, and it will put a stop to this truck. If anyone's still in here by the time that you have your hatchet, it's an easy win for the Huntress. And if you hit them while they're in there, then you can just walk around. But say they're going around here and you don't want to waste your time, perfect way to set that up. Then, let's see. Okay, so this is another perfect example of how to use hitboxes with Huntress. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to bait her into these throws. I'm winning the game, right? So this girl, she thinks she's fine behind this pillar, right? So here's the thing. The pillars, okay, this looks like it's jutting out of the pillar, but in reality, it's part of the pillars on the backside. So her hitbox is about the size of this, okay? Her hitbox is about the same width as that. So if she's not perfectly center, then it means that I can hit her on either one of the sides, right? But as I've said before, hatchets have their own hitbox in a different size that they can slide past another hitbox. And this girl was probably not positioned properly in the middle. So watch this. She doesn't think that I can hit there, but I hit right over this little divot, and it shows that she was aimed more right here. So if you see someone hiding behind an object, you can legitimately just throw it and hug the wall and hit them. You don't have to try and move left and right, getting them to back away, because a lot like these bars right here, she's safe. If she crouches, you can't hit her unless you arc your hatchet, but then you have to be a certain distance back. And by going all the way to the left, back over here, well, she can position herself. She's totally fine. Look at this. I don't know if I can hit through that, but I can't see the bars underneath the cloth. If she would have stayed right there, I could have hit it. But hitting those shots are hard to line up without a crosshair. I tried a crosshair for a little bit, but it didn't really help me out too much. And there's probably only like 2 clips I have of a game where I had a crosshair, and this is actually going to be one of them, which is why I got such a perfect shot. But this is another trick that you can do as well. So I'm going to skip to where I see her scratch marks. Okay, so I missed this shot. Barely. Now, I had a crosshair, so this makes it a little bit easier. So, if she runs this way, whatever, but the pallet is the safest place to get. She can drop the pallet, and I know this. If she drops the pallet, she forces me to break it, unless I do some sort of fancy mind game. But if I don't break the pallet, it's not that hard to just camp the pallet, see which way I'm moving, and then go off of that, right? There's also a generator, so it's not like I can come in here and just hit it. So I arc the hatchet towards the doorway, bam, spatter of blood because she ran towards the door, or the doorway, the pallet way, whatever you want to call it. She ran towards it, so I aimed this perfectly. Now these shots are hard to get. Okay, I used the crosshair mainly because for whatever reason my aim was going off, and I'm pretty sure it was Shadowborn. I do not encourage Shadowborn. It will mess up your aim. People say it's like an addiction. For me, no. As soon as I took off Shadowborn after, probably 10 games with it, I instantly was doing better. I didn't feel it at all. I didn't even pay attention because all I was paying attention on was hatchet this, hatchet that, hatchet that, hatchet her, hatchet him. That was all I was focused on. Just lobbing hatchets, getting the game progressed. That was it. So Shadowborn, maybe it will help you, maybe it won't, but it is something that is going to play with your aim, whether or not it's taking off Shadowborn or adding Shadowborn. As for crosshairs, that's actually a really good way to get your aim, and flicking, arcing your hatchets, a crosshair will not help you with that. So if you think, oh, well, I shouldn't use crosshair because it will make me bad, no, it will help you learn the center of your screen, which if you're someone like me who looks side to side all the time and, taking in all the details, sometimes that's hard, especially when you're stressed out. I don't really use a crosshair, and it really screws me over sometimes. So there's that. But if you want to use a crosshair, I would recommend it because it will help you out. And all the arcs that you do, the mind games that you do, that is your skill. That's something that you will pick up, and the crosshair cannot do that for you. And then this one. I will not lie, I don't remember what this one... Oh, actually, yes. I have a clip on my YouTube of this. So this is a way to deal with this loop specifically and certain loops. So watch as the hook is like this, right? The hook is shaped that way. It's jutting out to the left from my position. Now you can arc your hatchets, okay? But the hook moves to the side that the survivor's on. So the survivor is on this side. You can see it jutting out to the right, or at least towards me, right? So that means the survivor went for the save instantly to prevent me from hitting him. Now, if I were to go this way, maybe I would still down him. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe she would have taken the hit and it would extend the chase. So I did the safest thing, which is also the riskiest. So now as you watched, it did not hit him, not his body. If anything, it hit his hitbox up here. So watch this. See this, by him going over there, the hatchet was over the tallest part of the box. But if you watch any clips, people on the receiving end of this, which sadly I don't have anymore, is that if it hits above their head, it is always going to hit them. But because he's standing right there, the hatchet hits slightly above his head to where his hitbox is extended, and it's already arcing down. It downs him, and I think, yeah, he gets the save because obviously I threw it late. But with these situations and these situations alone, you can set these types of shots up. This isn't something you want to rely on. It's not something that's going to happen every time. If he would have grabbed her from back here, I could have hit it, but it's a really, really tight fit because I either hit her or I miss, or I hit him, which is the hardest one to do on the positioning. And it was mainly just, let me see if I can do it because I'm winning. As you can see, 4 generators, 1 DC, 6 hooks. It's not something you want to go for every time, but you can do it. But on another note, this building right here, you can hit through the windows. Not as much as you used to be before the rework, but there is going to be a time where people are running on the outside, and you can aim through some of these windows and hit them. A little known fact. Not everybody knows it, but you can hit through that. So, in case you want to use it. And then another thing I did, I aimed right here to hit him. Prediction shot. You always have to aim to skim it because it can hit them while they're crouching, but it will make it harder to hit. Also, these tank treads, they're really easy to hit. They're crouching. All you got to do is back up a little bit, aim downwards, and you will hit them. That's another little tip right there. And then, yeah, sorry, this is going to take a little bit, but I'm trying to really go in depth and explain all these hits to you. So this one is a really cool little one that I was thinking of putting on my montage, but for, better words, I'm just going to use it to teach something. Right. So back to the whole situation with tap that I just showed you. So you can see she's on the tree side. So how am I going to hit her, right? Like either hit her or skip it. So here's the thing. If I aim right here, I totally miss. If I aim right here, I hit her, right? And that's actually, I'm pretty sure that was the plan for me in this game, was to just activate her BT so she didn't have it, or even her off the record. I don't know if it would have worked, probably not. But regardless, she would be under more pressure because she has to mend a health state and then heal a health state, right? But I missed. But because I barely got it, the hatchet, it went right here to where her hitbox was still extended, and it's a really hard shot, which shows that it was a total accident that I hit it. It was not my skill, it was luck. So don't expect to be able to hit these hatchets consistently, especially in this situation. That's typically a save for them. You're not getting that hit, more than likely. So as you see, I missed, she waited. Now, I could flick and try and hit him as he's right here, but that wasn't what my point was, and flicking is something that is not reliable until you are good at it, and you have to really work on your sensitivity. Right now, my DPI is at the lowest with 100 sensitivity. It was definitely slower, but I could flick my mouse with my wrist and get these flicks. But watch this. So I knew she's running this way, but this girl was also really smart. She was zigzagging to dodge my hatchet. She knew what I was doing. The thing is, I got lucky with the hit. As you could see, she dodged it to the left and then to the right. She seen me, and then she dodged to the right. She played the right cards, but failed in the long run. So obviously, not every survivor is going to zigzag. Some people will even wait for that hatchet because they expect it. But that's another thing you can do. If they cannot see you fully and you throw over an object, you can hit them as long as you know which way they're going. Obviously, I knew that she was going to go to this corner, hence why I aimed around there with a quick instant throw, so the arc would go lower. And this is another thing on Midwich. Midwich can suck. The long hallways can be really good. And as you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble right here. But I know I can hit her. This open space right here you can hit through because of the hitboxes. Now you see I almost had her, but I didn't aim down low enough. So I back up a little bit, and if you back up, you can aim lower and avoid the hitboxes. This time I hit the box. Now as you can see, she's getting cockier like, oh, he can't hit me. But in reality, all you got to do, if you're having trouble hitting over a loop that people are crouching at, or you're just struggling on, right? Just take a breather, back up, move left and right, set up your shot, and aim down. As soon as you skim that loop, you will hit them. Their hitbox is still extended. But the thing is, if you are hugging up to an object, once you aim down, you're just imagine as if that loop is a black hole, right? And your hatchet is trying to beat a black hole. That is impossible. So what does the loop do? The loop sucks the hatchet into it, which is why if you've ever tried throwing a hatchet over a truck or over a bed at Larry's from up close, how the hatchet seems to just kind of right down into the bed or the loop, that's why, which is why you have to take a step back, and it lets your hitbox, I don't know, it's like your hitbox fully forms so it doesn't just instantly smack and hit the bed, right? So you want to take a step back, get your hatchet ready, and make sure that you're not hitting the hitbox of whatever you're throwing over, but also do not let that hatchet go if you're too close, or your hitboxes will just collide, and then you're down a hatchet, and nobody likes that scenario. And I'm hoping that these more in-depth like loops and holes and little tricks that you can that I could show you on these videos can really help you guys in your matches and learning Huntress and playing against her. So you're on Torment Creek. You know that you can't just run willy-nilly around that building without paying attention. But as a Huntress, now you know what you can do. Now you know that when people are turning around corners, you can still hit them. So you shouldn't just, oh, well, I can't hit that. Well, if you throw it early enough, yeah, they're going to dodge your hatchet, but is their hitbox going to dodge your hatchet? That's something you won't figure out. Oh, well, damn, they brought a Garden of Joy offering. GG easy, I'm just going to lose because the match sucks. Well, if you take him to Killer Shack, bam, there you go. You're on Midwich or another map with small loops like that you can throw over, and you're just having trouble. Take a step back, aim your hatchet properly. You got a smart survivor you're trying to down, they're running toward an object, throw over the object. It really just depends on how you set this up, the way the survivors are playing and the way the game is. If they're stressed out because they're about to lose, they're going to play sporadically. They're not going to be as calm, and they're definitely not going to be as skilled as they were in the beginning when they were totally safe. And they had like some god loops on you. Like, oh, this Huntress sucks because I know when she's going to pull up. Yep. And then once her teammates go down, she has to save them, and the generators aren't getting done. That's when they're like, ah, crap. This Huntress doesn't suck, or whatever, but they're not going to be thinking straight. And that's the one thing with Huntress is you want to build pressure. To get these situations that I had, it was all due to pressure or just, game sense and their misplays. If you apply pressure, people will slip up, and you can use that to your advantage. If you have a lot of game sense and you understand the survivors you're going against, and most survivors, you will have an advantage. You have to take that, and anytime that these tricks that I teach you fail, just remember, if someone is good, that does not mean you're bad. Don't give up on Huntress or any killer or any role in this game. Just keep working on the tricks that you know, keep working on what you need to work on, and don't let your failures, make you think that you have to give up, because that's not how it works. And I definitely couldn't do this in the beginning on console. When I started, I was losing a lot. Well, sorry to get all deep on that, but I hope that this was helpful, and you guys give me a little bit of feedback so I can, go over anything more and, really help you guys out.